Hey, and welcome back to this video series on how to make a good PBL. Again, my name's Austin Farrell, and in this video, we are concluding the series, and I just wanted to take the time to give you some additional resources that I personally find helpful in creating a better PBL experience for my students and myself. In this video, we're going to discuss two helpful resources, an anchor chart and a product tracker. The anchor chart is a means by which you can keep track of the sustained inquiry that you are facilitating for the class throughout the PBL unit. And the product tracker is something that your students can use to keep track of their critique and revisions to their public product throughout the course of the PBL unit. I've included some definitions for anchor charts and product trackers. An anchor chart is a centralized document where you can record all of the activities you do in class and the learning outcomes that students took away from those activities. Product trackers are also a centralized document, but it's used by students to keep track of their public product, the critique they've received on their public product, and the revisions they made to their public product. So we're first going to go ahead and take a look at an example anchor chart. This is a particular template that I use. You don't have to use this template, but on my anchor chart, I have my driving question listed at the top. And in the left-hand column, you'll see the activity that we've done as a class. That activity could be a field trip, it could be having a speaker come into the class, a video we watched, classroom readings that we've done, or classroom experiments. And then, as you see, we have claim evidence reasoning, which is often used in ELA. I find it to be helpful in science as well for keeping track of what we're learning, what we're seeing, and what it means. In the column all the way to the right, we see the questions. And these are questions that are coming up from the students as we do these different activities. I also try to include the student's name who asked that question, just because it seems a bit more real and authentic as we are using this document to track our learning, to go back and answer the questions that we had based on new information that we've learned. Now, an anchor chart is something that I fill out with the class. I don't have students fill this out individually because I want to make sure everybody is on the same page and we're walking away with the same understandings from our classroom activities. So I actually post this on my school's LMS learning management software in a location where all students can access it. And one of the things this is also helpful for is in having students reflect on what they're learning, I can actually assign classroom work or homework where students have to reference or use the anchor chart to answer specific questions. The document we're looking at next is a product tracker. So a product tracker is a document that the students will be filling out, and it's a centralized document where they can keep track of the critique they receive on their public product. That is critique from a teacher or critique from their fellow classmates, and the revisions they make to their public product. Now, with the example product tracker that I have here, I've got a couple different boxes visible for a particular PBL unit that my students are going through. But the most important things to have on a product tracker are these two columns, essentially a revision column and a critique column. So in the revision column, students are going to keep track of their current attempt, their current work on the public product. In the critique column, that is where students are going to receive feedback from their classmates or feedback from their teachers based on new information that the classroom learns. So, for example, in this product tracker that we're looking at here, students have answered a set of 4 questions in the performance review box, essentially the revision box. So, this is their first revision, their first attempt at this public product. Then, in between revision and critique, there's actually a opportunity for sustained inquiry. So after students do a revision of their public product, the classroom is going to participate in some activity in which they learn new content, new information. That's where the sustained inquiry is happening. And then again, following sustained inquiry, we see a critique opportunity. So, based on the new information that the classroom has learned, they are going to work with each other, or the teacher is going to come in and provide critique on the revision of the public product that the students had worked on. Following this critique, students are then going to complete another revision of their public product. They're going to use the feedback from the critique in order to change and improve their public product. And the cycle continues. Following this review or this revision, as a class, we will then experience another opportunity for sustained inquiry where students and as a class are going to learn new content. That new content is then going to be used to interrogate the revision and critique the revision that students have just done. And then we'll have another critique written in the critique section. And then students are going to use that critique, that feedback, to then do another revision. Okay. So the template that you use for a product tracker varies based on information that you want students to be keeping track of. But essentially, the most important parts are having a column for the revisions that the students are doing and a column for the critique that they are receiving after every opportunity of sustained inquiry during the PBL unit. The other thing that I like about a product tracker is one of the challenges of PBL units is that since the final product is what students are working on throughout the course of the PBL unit, sometimes you have students who actually don't work on the final product during the course of the unit. And by the end of the unit, they don't have anything to show for their public product or project. A product tracker helps hold students accountable, and it allows you to give them feedback on their public products as they're working on them. It's very helpful because as you go through the process of grading, let's say the first revision or the first critique that students are receiving on their public products, you can also track which students are moving along at the right pace, which students may need more support, and also just making sure that students are doing the work on their products.